Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and call to order the May 5th, 2023, 1 p.m. Canvassing Board certification meeting for the April 25th, 2023 special election. I am Canvassing Board Member Julie Wise, your King County Director of Elections. And with me, I have Canvassing Board Member Susie Slonaker, for the Deputy Prosecuting Attorney in the Prosecuting Attorney's Office, and Stephanie Sirkovich, Chief of Staff to the King County Council. We are staffed today by Geraldine Hampton, our King County Elections Ballot Processing Manager. This meeting is being recorded and live streamed via the King County Elections Facebook page and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel after this meeting. Now we're going to hear from Geraldine with an overview of this special election.
Thank you, Julie. First thing, though, I have two items to present to the board for rejection. First item is E-4000. It is 7,440 mail ballot challenges, so including ballots that were returned too late to process, or too late to count, I should say. Ballots returned with no signature or a mismatching signature. That's really what comprises this number.
I move that we reject the ballots on that list.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, second item is E-4001. It's 239 prior election ballot packets that we received in the office. So these are the entire ballot packet, envelope, and whatnot from a prior election, a variety of different prior elections. We did, in fact, open all of the envelopes to confirm that there is no current election ballot just showing up in the wrong envelope. But because it's not an April election ballot, we are unable to process those either. And the 239 is an informational number. These are not included in our official returns number of accepted or rejected ballots because they're not a valid packet. But I do need the board to reject these ballots for me.
I would move that we vote to reject those ballots as well.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, thank you for that. Now moving on to a summary of our election. We'll first talk turnout. So we had projected going into the election, or hoped, I should say, projected that we would reach 33% turnout. We actually ended up more like 31% for ballots returned by voters. This was a countywide election, so just shy of 1.4 million registered voters all received their ballots. That translates, the 31% translates into about 426,000 ballots that we processed for this election. Activity at our Dropbox locations. We had all of our 76 locations open and ready for voters this election. Total returns via Dropbox came close to 176,000 ballots, which is 41% of our total returns. This is actually comparable to what we saw in our recent February election as well. The most utilized drop boxes for this election, surprise, we have Ballard Library taking the top spot this time with almost 6,000 ballots. I'm sorry, 6,900 ballots in returns. And then Redmond City Hall was a close second place with almost 6,600 ballots returned at Redmond City Hall. And election day was relatively busy. We had 45% of our Dropbox returns came in on election day. Moving on to vote center activity. For spring elections, we regularly just have Renton headquarters open, so that was the case for this election. But we did have some activity. We registered 14 new voters. We made 16 updates to the records, to various records, and then issued 79 ballots to those folks who visited us in person. Challenges, as we just spoke about, we ended the election with just over 7,400 mail ballot challenges. Of that grouping, there are 55% of the challenges that were actually returned too late to be processed. So something that was postmarked April 26th or after, or returned after 8 p.m. at a Dropbox. We had just over 3,300 signature challenges remaining at certification as of now, which ends up being 0.8% of our total ballot returns. So that's comparable to what we see in regular elections. And about 43% of voters initially challenged did in fact return a signature cure form to help us count their ballots. So often the return number for challenge letters can be a little bit lower than a primary or general election. We did not receive any ballots that we needed to treat as provisional, so that's great. We needed a lot of help for this election, again, because I just mentioned it was a countywide election. So we did hire 165 temporary staff to help out our full-time crew with all of the election activities. Again, we hire a variety of, for a variety of roles, including customer service, ballot processing, data entry, and so on. For this election, we did have observer participation, which is fantastic. I trained up 15 individuals before the election really got underway to be official observers. And we had 35 unique observer visits throughout the election cycle. So that's actually a pretty good number for a spring election when we sometimes don't see as much observer participation. Post-election audits. So every election we conduct a post-election audit called a batch audit. I'll talk about 2 audits in this section here. The batch audit is a process where we randomly select 6 batches of ballots. This comes to approximately 1,500 ballots. And we do a hand count of a randomly selected contest. And then we compare those hand count numbers to the tally that came out of the tabulation system. Again, this is to prove to ourselves that the votes are getting counted accurately, the programming is working as it should be. So we audited the King County Proposition 1 contest, and we did not have any discrepancies in our batch audit process. The second audit I'll touch on is our risk limiting audit. So for this election, we conducted our 5th risk limiting audit. And this audit was conducted in addition to the batch audit that I just described. A risk limiting audit, it's another type of audit that takes a random sample of individual ballots. So not batches or groups of ballots, they're individual ballots, and compares each vote on the marked ballot against the tabulated vote for those individual ballots. This type of post-election audit, the purpose of it is really to provide a statistical confidence that the winner is really the winner of the contest. So for the first round of this audit, we reviewed 51 ballots for, again, King County Proposition number 1. And we did find one discrepancy. The team ended up making an error on a ballot that had a correction to an undervote. So this is a complicated voter intent rule. If the ballot only had the King County Proposition 1 contest on it, when a voter fills in the oval and lines through it, it's actually considered a vote because it's a single mark on the ballot, and that's supposed to be a vote per voter intent rules in Washington State. If the ballot, as it did in this instance, had 2 contests on it, that same marking, filling in the oval and making a line through it, that has to be considered an undervote because there's another contest on that ballot that has a regularly marked ballot, a regularly marked target area. Anyway, so it was a human error. So we work in tandem with the Secretary of State's office, who helps us with the software to do the risk limiting audit. And so we connected with the Secretary of State's office, and they provided us a secondary group of ballots to pull for round 2 of the audit. So we pulled an additional 17 ballots to do comparison of. And with the addition of the 17 ballots, the second round, we did not find an additional discrepancy. Therefore, we met the risk limit and concluded that audit. As far as reconciliation of the overall election is concerned, I'm happy to report we are balanced with 0 discrepancies, and it's actually our 29th election in a row with no discrepancies. So that's fantastic. We have already looked ahead now. We're looking forward to the August primary, which is right around the corner. It's on August 1st is when election day is, and our first canvassing board meeting is on the books and scheduled for August 10th at 1:30 p.m. So that is my summary of election activities. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Julie, I will now read you the oath of authenticity. It reads as follows. I solemnly swear that the unofficial returns and supporting documentation of the special election held on April 25th, 2023 in King County, State of Washington are true and correct.
I do. Board, I'm going to now read our certification. The certification of the canvassing board reads, the undersigned officers designated by law as constituting the canvassing board for the County of King, State of Washington, hereby certify that this is a full, true, and correct copy of the abstract of votes, including the number of registered eligible voters, cumulative results, precinct results, and report of votes cast at the special election held on April 25th, 2023 in King County, State of Washington.
I
I
do.
do. The board has certified this election. And before we adjourn, I just want to thank the King County voters that turned out in this important election. And I want to thank our amazing team at King County Elections for another exceptional election. It doesn't matter the size or the time of year, the dedication, drive, passion, and care are quite palpable across the entire organization. When you meet each individual and when you access our actual facility there. So remind voters that you can tune in and watch us hard at work online through our web cameras or come in and watch the process yourself. King County Elections always is here to answer any questions by phone or email or in person. Thanks to the team, thanks to the voters, and importantly, thank you to this canvassing board for your time and dedication in voter intent and certifying these elections. It's much, much appreciated. And again, thank you to Susie Slonaker for her dedication to the King County Canvassing Board and to the voters of King County. Really appreciate your service.
Thank you, Julie.
Any further business? This canvassing board meeting held on May 5th, 2023, a certification meeting is adjourned at 1:12 p.m. Thank you.